coaches and consultants, your market is probably really saturated. And one of the biggest reasons for that is because of the power of the web. Now, with the power of the web, anybody can create an online presence for themselves and start their own business, which is a beautiful thing. The barrier of entry is the lowest that it's ever been, and you barely have any startup costs. Of course, you do have some, but it's really, really low compared to what it used to be like for business owners. So it's great that it's easier than ever to start and market a business. The flip side of that is that a lot of people are doing that, so the marketplace is saturated. What do you do to stand out from the crowd, to really speak to the hearts of your ideal clients? This episode features Jessica Rodriguez, founder of Freedom Driven Success. She works with coaches, creatives, consultants, and other business owners to move beyond the one-to-one model so that they can leverage their time and make more money and have more freedom. You probably know that there are a lot of people who teach how to do group programs and courses like Jessica does. So it's very, very saturated out there. Yet, she has a multiple six-figure business. So this woman knows how to stand out in a noisy marketplace. She's going to be teaching you the exact process you need to go through in order to use what you already have to market your business online and attract your ideal client like a magnet. You've tuned into Unforgettable Online Marketing, and I'm your host, Tara Wilder. On this show, we share practical online marketing tips and strategies for virtual business owners like yourself so you can create a strong online presence that attracts your ideal client, engages them, nurtures a relationship, and converts them into leads and paying clients. Jessica shares a really actionable strategy in this episode, so I want you to set aside time after you're done to do the work and then go to my group, Unforgettable Entrepreneur Society, on Facebook and share what you've created and what you've learned. All right, enough of that. Let's get started. I've got Jessica Rodriguez here, founder of Freedom Driven Success, and I am entirely too excited to have her here today because I've been following her for a few years. She was on my Telesummit a couple of years ago, and this woman knows what she's doing. She truly does. She, like I said, is founder of Freedom Driven Success. She helps coaches and consultants like you grow beyond the one-to-one model in business, when you're offering private services, to more of a passive income or more leveraged income model, which she'll tell us about in just a second. But this is something that we all need. She's a multiple six-figure business owner and has a powerful online presence. And I mean, you guys are coaches and consultants. You know that there are a lot of coaches out there who talk about how you can create a course and make six figures and do this and that. And there's a lot of them out there. But Jessica has managed to create a very successful business for herself because she has found how to stand out in a saturated marketplace. So that was a really long introduction. Jessica's been sitting there waiting to talk that whole time. So Jessica, hello, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Well, I talked a little bit about your business. I know, oh, and by the way, I'm very happy to have you. I just realized I didn't acknowledge
Fine, don't be happy.
I'm so excited, and I know that I said a little bit about what it is that you do in your business, but can you tell us a little bit more about who your clients are, your students are, and how you help them grow their businesses?
Yes, so I consider myself a business strategist that helps people expand beyond a one-on-one model by using the power of online courses, group programs, and memberships in order to get their ideas and their gifts out there to more people who need it without always having to compromise the one thing they started their business for, which is freedom. So what I started to see, because I've been in multiple industries along the way of building businesses myself, is that there becomes this time in every business where, yes, you started, you laid the framework, you got everything going, but then all of a sudden did I just change my 9 to 5 for 24/7? Like, what just happened? Because I am working so much in order to serve. And I saw this happening a lot with people who do client services. So I'm giving so much to my clients, and so much of my schedule is already blocked out that I don't really have the freedom that I started my business for. So I can't just pick up and go. This whole like, laptop on the beach. It's like, yeah, but I'll be on a Zoom call with my clients, right? Like
You're right. Like
all
people say work from anywhere, but that doesn't necessarily mean you want to be working when you're on the beach. You want to be on the beach.
Yes, and I had that same experience with myself where I had built some, great brands in the fitness industry, then in social media marketing, and it just felt like I kept repeating this same issue where I would get myself booked out and then start to be resentful of my own business. And every single time it was like, oh, I don't know what else to do. I'll just burn this business down and then build another one. Apparently, I know how to build businesses. It wasn't until a few years back when I went, what if it's just because I'm not serving in the best way that fits me? So what if taking on clients was just something I love to do? If it's a perfect, ideal person, yes, I can serve in that way. But why don't we use, and for me, courses was the catalyst of starting to create these offers that we could be selling. I'm almost hesitant to say passive because we have put in work into the systems that we've built. Like, why don't we get these systems set up for ourselves and make it so that the knowledge and skills that I have can go so far beyond just me and these Zoom conversations with clients. And the more I started talking about it, because this is part of our topic here of having this conversation, the more I just started putting it out there online, like, hey, here's what I'm doing. I'm switching my business model instead of switching my business. I'm going to show my skills in a different way. It completely transformed the way me and my husband live my life or live our life. And then also at the same time, I started working with women that were able to start creating that freedom for themselves and being able to stand out online with whatever their specific skill sets were, but not doing this kind of presence on social media that we see a lot that leads to burnout, that has people exhausted and, just trying to be on all the time.
Yeah. Oh, so well said. And I have a couple things I want to underline with what you said is, first of all, you're right. I hesitate to use the word passive as well because there's no such thing as passive income. It requires a lot of work at first and then it requires maintenance as well. But it is more passive than immediate one-to-one services are. So I got that. And then the second thing also is from what you said, I think that this is what you meant is that it's okay to still do one-on-one services, but that doesn't have to be your main source of income, right?
Yes, absolutely. And this is where a majority of the people that I work with, and I'll even say clients too, because I have members in my programs and I go through phases where I'm like, I want to be working with clients. I want to work with people more intimately. It's just that freedom of choice to do so.
Right, right. I love that. I love that. And I experienced that in my business too, where I was like, hey, so I left 9 to 5 because I wanted to make more money and have more freedom. And I feel like I'm working 24/7 and dreaming about my business too. So I
Mhm.
think I think that was a business model problem and also kind of like a systems and discipline problem too, if you're really working 24/7.
Yep. And catching those boundaries as well.
Yes, absolutely. Well, this is really powerful. I'm sure that most of the people listening or watching this have considered a different model than one-to-one if they don't already have one. But when you look out there online, like I said before, there are so many people doing what it is that we do. Regardless of what industry you're in, it feels like the market is so saturated. I know at least for most, I don't want to say most, many different types of coaches and consultants, there are dozens more out there. So the question is, how do I stand out from the rest in a marketplace that is so noisy and so saturated? I know that you, like I said before, I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but you have created such a successful businesses actually, from leveraging what's unique about your business and your brand and standing out and really attracting the right people and then repelling the people that aren't exactly the right fit for you and you're not the right fit for them. So in this episode, guys, Jessica's going to be sharing with us a little bit or a lot bit about how to stand out in a saturated marketplace. So what would you say the very first thing to consider would be?
Yes. So this is one of my, I have to tell you, favorite topics, because so many times people will use that as an excuse, in their industry. So I'm not getting more clients or more sales or this,
Oh,
because
yeah.
there's so many people in my industry. So really, the first thing I want you to do is wrap your mind around the fact that that is the biggest gift that you have, is that if you're in a saturated industry, we have one business that isn't in a saturated industry. And it's like, oh my God, it feels weird now to me, because I've been so used to building in saturated industries. And it's such a gift because you already know the work that you do is validated. The need is validated. People are looking for it. And now it becomes the real key piece to standing out, is pulling out why you are different. Now, the thing about that is that you are the worst judge of this. Okay. So if someone's like, oh, what's unique about you? The first thing I'm going to say is like, I don't know, I'm kind of boring actually. Like, I don't really do a lot. Like, I'm working on things, right? Like, it's so hard to determine like what is unique about you. So what I always like to have people do, and I don't care how long you've been in business or if you're just starting, this is going to benefit you, is to go out, and I want you to take a little poll with 3 groups of people. Now, these are going to be broken down very specifically for a reason, and we're asking them all the same exact question, and that is, what do you appreciate about me? Now, I know this may sound like a little like, like I'm not trying to ask people that question. It's okay. It's awkward for everyone, which is why you can just lead with that. Like, I know this is going to sound weird. However, I'm working on something in my business, and I just want to see, like, what do you appreciate about me, or why do you even hang around me? Like, we're trying to get that information. So the first thing I want you to do is reach out to the friends and family that are close to you. Like, these are the people that they don't understand your business. They support it, but they're like, oh, she sells some things on Facebook. That's what most of my family
Yeah.
says I do. Okay. I'm like, okay, close enough, whatever. So like, no matter what, they still, they see the essence of you, right? They know exactly what you're like. They know how much you actually eat on Thanksgiving. Like, they know all of it, and they still love you. So
You email around Thanksgiving. Is that what you just said?
no, they know what you eat at Thanksgiving.
That is so good.
Right around there is, ask those people, like, what are 3 things you appreciate about me? And just see what they say. Some of your friends, depending on if you have friends like me, they're going to say some funny things, and you're like, haha, okay, now really, like, tell me the truth. What do you appreciate? And I want you to just start getting this growing list. So the easiest way to do this is just go text them and say, I know this is kind of a weird question, but what are 3 things that you would say you appreciate about me? As each person answers, then just write it down. Okay. So I'm looking for at least 5 people, and from each person, I'm getting 3 things. If they want to do more, by all means, that is accepted. Please shower me with love. And then the second group is going to be people that you met in business. So these are the biz besties, so to speak. So these are the people that maybe you have met in some paid programs you've been in. These are people that you can Voxer back and forth or text me like, can you believe this client did da, 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 and they totally get it, right? Like, you can commiserate and celebrate along the way because they get what you're doing. You're going to do the same exact thing. You won't have to explain as much to them, but they will want to know what exercise you're doing. So be prepared to then answer them back after you explain this exercise, because they're going to want to do it. And then the third category is, if you have a business that allows for this, and I feel like this audience probably does, is people that you connected with first in person. So maybe you were at an event, they were speaking or you were speaking, you connected with this person, and then they started following you. So they first met you in person, then started being a part of your community online, and ask them that same question. It's probably going to have to be through DMs or, something behind the scenes on social. But these are people who have seen you in a different light because they have met you in person and they chose to continue this relationship with your business. So we are pulling from those three different groups of people because they all have different versions of you that they saw, and we're all multifaceted. So they have seen these different sides of you. Some don't know the business side of you. Others probably mostly know the business side of you. And then the other people probably have a little bit of a mix. So I am looking for those responses, writing them all down. And I just have to say this because we don't do this enough, is look at the list and celebrate it, right? Like, look how awesome you are. Like, everyone just told you all these things they appreciate about you. Most of them you probably don't notice about yourself, or maybe you think it, but you don't necessarily own it. So once I have that list, I start to go through and see what are the common things, like what are the most common things that come up over and over again for people, because now this is telling me this is how I need to show up online. This is the truest essence of who I am at my core, which means that if these three different groups of people are all saying they love this 1, 2, or 3 things, like the commonalities, then that's actually what attracts people to me. So if I can take that and show it in my brand, then it's going to bring more of the right people, and it's absolutely going to push people away. Just like in everyday life, right? Some people don't like you. It's going to do the same thing online. So what I started to find, which sometimes you may not like the answers that come up, by the way, like for me, it was my energy, which I didn't know what that meant. It was like what? Like, like, I don't even know what that means. So then I started asking them more, like, what do you mean by that? And I found like it was the way I made people feel like everyone belongs, like it's okay. It's like this positive spin of like, everything's going to be all right. We all have our things and we're just going to move forward together, and like just giving, that kind of essence about myself. And I was like, I had no idea I did that. And then the second thing was around humor. And like, you make me laugh. Like, I like seeing behind the scenes of your stories. And I like the fact that you're really smart when it comes to a lot of business stuff, but then I don't know how you cross the street, like things like this. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. Okay. Right. Like, but here's the thing. I started to take that and infuse it into my brand. And when I say like some of the thing you may be a little bit weird about, when I first saw how many people were saying humor, I was like, well, I'm not like, right? Like, but if I start like saying the little random things me and my husband say, or how I sing to our cats around the house, like those kind of things, if I share that online, people won't take me seriously. Like, they're not going to take me seriously in business if they see that like that part of me, and just like the fun loving, I might as well be a 5-year-old most of the time, like that kind of side of me. And I was really hesitant at first to share it. But what I started to realize is, as I slowly like gave myself this option to like lean into it, into my brand, everything felt so natural. Like, it became easier to post. I was consistently posting. I was showing up, and I was going through this process of, oh, this is what everyone means about like, you are the actual value in your brand, right? Like, you are the one who makes it different in a saturated industry. So it began where, back in fitness, which feels like a lifetime ago, I was sharing the fact that most likely I was burning something. And like, I would share that with my audience. So then when I shared recipes, it was like, hey, you guys, like, if I can make this, it's easy. And it started like bringing this dialogue where people felt comfortable. And I was like, oh, I'm sharing these things where like, I can't believe she burns her food as a fitness professional. And I was like,
she's a human being like
I do. And I just started bringing that to every brand, because no matter what, I saw like that's actually the truest essence of me, which helped every brand from that point on just build faster, because I was just acting as me early on, instead of this whole like taking pieces from all these other people in my industry and then trying to mash them all together and make it my brand. It was like, no, my brand is literally, here's what people already love about me. I'm just going to amplify the heck out of that. And that's what's going to attract more people just like that.
Oh, so well said. So well said. And you actually, or rather, I had a very similar experience to you too, where I was hiding myself because I was young when I started my business. I didn't have very much experience, even in like corporate world, you know? So when I was going to networking events, I was like wearing black slacks and button up shirts. And like I was nice and friendly, but I wasn't the bubbly self I was making, talking about my cat and my dog and things like that. And I found that life and business became so much more fulfilling when I opened up and started sharing the exact same things. I think the reason why we get along so well is because we're basically the same person when it comes to energy. um, so yeah, and what was I going to say about that? Oh, and then the other thing, when people come up to me and talk to me and reference my online presence somehow, they always say how cute it was that I showed my dog, or I'm so funny, or I'm this or that, and they never would have been attracted to me and had like that such positive experience with me and my brand if I didn't put myself out there. So I'm really glad that you mentioned that.
Yes, and I find that two things tend to happen, especially anyone listening that comes from a corporate background can deal with this quite a bit, where you're used to, you don't use emojis or exclamations in an email, right? Like everything's like preserved, and there's certain things that you're kind of like playing the game with a little bit. And then you get into business and you still act that same way. You're like, I want to do what I want, like forget this. And then you get into business and you bottle up the best parts of you because you're like, oh no, the world doesn't want to see it. It's not professional, quote unquote, when really like that's what makes you so different. And another experience that I had, which this has been my rule for years at this point, is I want anyone to meet me in person and be like, she's exactly how I thought she'd be. Like, there's no surprise. Like, that's who I am. Because we started running retreats this in 2019. So we ran two of them. And the women who came in, both of them, it was just like, I wasn't surprised by the fact that they were so open to each other and like being able to share what's going on in their business and having that space. And then, of course, at night, it's like TMI, but TMI. And everyone's just like, it's okay. Like, we're fine with this. And it's because like it starts with you as that leader, right? So if you're attracting all the wrong people, then this exercise becomes really vital to you because most likely you're not being yourself. So you're attracting somebody else's audience, which then makes you feel like, oh, why am I doing all this when I'm still not happy? It really does stem from who you're showing up as.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I know that some people will be afraid of repelling some people as well. And I have the perfect example, and I would love to name the person, but I don't know. I don't think I should. So there's this really big business coach, and I know there are several very large business coaches, but she's a big business coach. She has a very direct and harsh brand,
Mhm.
and very passionate and loud. And she has haters out there. Essentially, she has haters. I've been to her events, and I have seen that she also has fans that are foaming at the mouth, raving fans of hers too. And she has a seven, if not multiple seven-figure business as well. So if you have a hater, awesome, because you're doing something right, in my opinion.
Yes. And it's just like our everyday life, right? There's always going to be things that you do. And I always give, I don't have children, but I always give moms so much credit. It's like they could post one thing they're doing, like I bought these diapers. And then all of a sudden it's like, how dare you use that brand? They did this. How dare you even use diapers? They do. And it's like, you just do what you can. We're all doing our best with what we have and what we know. And the same thing goes for social media. Like I've had people say things to me and I'm just like, cool, like that's your truth. And if we're being super honest, that anyone who has the time to leave like nasty comments or like have those kind of like more catty conversations, they're probably not doing much to have time to even be doing that. And that's not something I can control. I can only control how I respond to it. And it's either delete or like sometimes I'll just put like a Giphy, like just to be like absurd on purpose, like, oh, is that true? And I just move on, right? Because we can't focus on those people when there's so many more people out there that need what we offer.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you were sharing that initially too, I thought of this quote that I saw on Courtney Foster Donahue's page, her personal profile. Do you know who she is?
Mhm.
Oh, I want to
I
meet
don't
her
know
in
her
person.
personally, but I know who she is.
Right, yeah. So I just saw her cover photo today. It says, "You are the only you in all the world, so act like it." And I was like, "Oh, this is perfect." I thought
Yeah.
that was perfect.
It's like you are the secret sauce, but it's just a matter, are you willing to move forward with it? And even for me, like I slowly did it as if it was giving myself permission. Like I would post something online or like a meme or something, and it's like, oh, I'm still alive. Like, okay, people are fine with that. People are fine. And then all of a sudden you would have these conversations behind the scenes. I'm like, I love all these people. It's like, oh, see, that's what happens when you're being true to yourself. You naturally attract these people that are supposed to be working with you because they don't connect with somebody who is doing things a different way, which is why there's more than enough to go around.
Oh, yes, there's more than enough to go around. Absolutely. Because honestly, what most of us are doing is not new. It really is not. And what makes us unique is us. And now that I think about it, speaking of repelling clients, the ones that I didn't 100% enjoy working with, I mean, they were like good people, of
Mhm.
course. But the ones that I didn't enjoy working with were towards the beginning of my business when I wasn't being myself.
Right.
And I would say in the last few years, since I've stepped into myself, I have found joy in every single person that I've worked with, such fulfillment. And it is scary. And I really like that you're saying just start slow. It's okay to start slow. You don't need to like post a video on Facebook going, "Ah," or whatever, like
Today
right now.
starts me, every
Right.
part of me.
But start slow. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Well, Jessica, I feel like you shared so much valuable information here today. And I really like, I also perceive your brand as being very safe as well and warm and welcoming. So I love what you shared about being yourself and also that it's okay to take it slow too, and do what feels right and comfortable to you and recognizing that it may be uncomfortable at first, but
Yeah.
keep pushing through it. Was there anything else that you wanted to say before we wrap up here?
I think the biggest thing I will leave you with is right now you're catching this on audio or video, and that means that you're going to go, "Ooh, that sounds great in theory." And then you're going to go to the next thing, right? So I want
Yes.
you to stop and go five of your friends. At least start with that
Let me
first
interrupt you real quick.
category
Let
and
me interrupt
just
you real
get the
quick.
ball rolling. Mhm.
The internet cut out. And
Okay.
because of the terrible rain I was just telling you about. So you want us to stop and do what immediately after this?
So, what I want you to do is to stop right now, go text at least five of your closest family or friends and ask them the question. Ask them exactly what it is that they appreciate about you. See what answers happen. Don't save this till later because we know how that goes. So, at least get the ball rolling because as you see those responses come in, it's almost like a notification to your future self to then go to the next group and then go to the next group so that you can have this and really see what comes up for you.
Yes. Oh, so good. And I want to hear your answers too, or hear the answers that you get, by the way. So go post in our Facebook group, Unforgettable Entrepreneurs Society. The links are in the show notes, or link rather is in the show notes. Go let us know what you discover. I would love to hear that. And there are no right or wrong answers, right?
Nope, not at all. And that's the thing. It's just getting those, and then you'll start seeing the common threads very quickly.
Right, right. Well, that's great because you guys know that I love asking the question, what is the one thing that you should do after listening to this? That's what it is. And please pause and do this before going on to the next thing. I know personally, I listen to a lot of actionable, practical podcasts, and I just go from one to the other, and I don't stop and do the work. So this is a really good episode to do the work in, guys. Now, Jessica, thank you so much. You're amazing. I know people are going to want to connect with you. So where can they come play with you online?
Yes. So all the places is Freedom Driven Success. So super easy. Come say hi. I am happy to get any DMs coming from the show and just let me know that you stopped and did the exercise.
Yes. Yes. Oh, so good. You're so approachable like that, I think. So that's like Facebook, Instagram. You're on YouTube too, right? Am I
Yes.
misremembering that? Yes. I'll put all the links in the show notes, you guys. Unforgettable Entrepreneur Society, unforgettableonlinemarketing.com /16. Go check that out. It's going to be amazing. And you also have a podcast of your own too, right?
Yes, so we are currently in season 3. So if you just head on over in your app to Freedom Driven Success, you will see my big face in pink on the photo, and you can come on and learn all about scalable businesses and interviews with other business owners who are doing it for themselves.
And I'll tell you guys too that I already knew I wanted Jessica on my show, and I wanted to propose a podcast or a topic to her. Even though I know that you have your own signature talks, I wanted to propose one in my pitch. And well, actually, my pitch was I messaged her on Instagram and I said, "Be on my podcast." And she's like, "That's the best pitch I've ever gotten." But the more
It is.
the more formal one to her assistant said, anyway, so I went to her podcast. I always listen to it. That's one of my top podcasts. And How to Stand Out in a Saturated Market is actually one of the episodes she has on there. So if you really liked this episode, there is more of this on her show. So definitely go check her out and subscribe as well. And we were talking, I mean, this is kind of good for coming full circle. We were talking about course creation and actually, no, scaling from the one-to-one model to a group or passive income model. I think it's called leveraged income, right? Is that what you're calling it?
Yes, correct.
You have something for our listeners that will help them move on to that, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that gift?
Yes. So if you are looking to scale beyond one-on-one work, whether it's just getting some ideas out there of what's possible, or you're ready to hit the ground running, you'll want to come over and grab the Scale Beyond One-on-One Roadmap. So that will go through the entire process. My cat just knocked something down. That will go through the entire process of taking your business from that one-on-one reliant income to having scalable offers that can sell for you over and over again. And that's over at freedomdrivensuccess.com /roadmap.
Beautiful, beautiful. And if there's someone out there who knows you may consider this in the future, but not right now, you should still go grab it while you can as well. It's very, very valuable. All right, Jessica, well, thank you so much for being on the show. I hope that you guys got a lot of value out of this. And again, those show notes you can find at unforgettableonlinemarketing.com /16, because this is episode number 16. I'll see you next time. Bye.